because she's not going to tell you how many men she slept with. They're not going to tell you the truth, right? So you have to ask certain things, and we have to figure out how often does she go out, or how often did she used to go out if she's older. The first thing is her age. Obviously, if a woman's 18 years old and another woman's 30 years old, the woman that's older is obviously going to have more experience. This is just basic number. And we're talking about the average woman. I know some of you guys might say, well, I know this other person who's 30 years old and she's never done anything. We're talking in general. There's exceptions to the rule, but we're not talking about those. We're just talking in general. If in general we're right 99% of the time, you should always continue with those odds. Even if you might say, or you've heard someone else say, yeah, but what if that 1% you miss the love of your life? I'm going to take the 99% odds all of the time. If I lose that one because of that 1%, so be it. I'm going to continue to go with the odds. Remember, we care about stats, not about our feelings. We're going to worry about what's real, not what just feels good. So the first thing is obviously her age, right? If she's 20 years old, she's most likely going to sleep with less men than if she's 30 years old. If you met her at a bar before you went on a date, how was her social circle? Were her female friends showing a lot of promiscuous activities, right? I don't want to say the other word because YouTube's very soft. Or were there mostly men there? You got to figure these things out as well. How were the male friends with her? Were they all just buying her drinks all the time? That's another thing to consider. Now, I know some of you guys might say, well, there's a lot of other red flags available. Yes, but we're trying to keep this video short. I'm going to make more content on other red flags. So let's assume her social circle was normal and you met her at a local bar. Now you go on a date with her. When you go on a date with her, you got to ask her, how often does she go out? Or how often did she used to go out? Maybe she's older and she doesn't go out as often. Now, some of them are going to be clever and they're not going to tell you how often they go out or how often they used to go out. But eventually, if you keep dating them, you'll figure out other red flags. But let's just stick to dating for now. You ask her, hey, how often do you go out? Or if she's not, if you notice that she's not that open to talk about that yet, you could bring it up and you start talking about what you used to do, how you used to go out so much. Because a woman wants to relate with you if she likes you, if she's physically attracted to you, which most likely she is, that's why she's going on a date with you. You have to relate to her. So if she used to go out a lot before, but she's kind of ashamed to say it, you bring up your history that saying, yeah, I used to go out, like at least 2 times a week. Since I was 18, from 18 to 23, I was going out every week and partying with my friends and having a great time. Then she'll be more open to tell you her part. Maybe she's a little shy. Now she's going to say, oh yeah, me too. I used to do that, from 18, or maybe you could even say high school, right? I used to party in high school. Maybe you bring that up as well. She'll say since high school, she's been partying. So obviously, the more times a woman is out in the streets, the higher chance for promiscuity is going to be. It's just odds. Even if a woman is average, she's not super promiscuous, the more time she's out on those streets, the higher chance that she's going to have a higher body count. So you ask her, how often have you go out? Let's assume she said from high school till 22, 23, she's been going out and she still goes out. Then you have to know this. Let's assume an average girl goes out 2 times a week. And in a big city, right? I'm in LA. If it's a small town, then that is different. But in a big city, an average girl is going to go out about 2 times a week. Now, it does not mean that she's going out to the club 2 times a week. Now, obviously, some women do, right? And you guys might say, hey, I know girls who go out 4 times a week, but let's just keep the number simple. Let's just say it's 2 times. Those 2 times, maybe one day she goes to the club, one day she goes out just to a bar hopping. In those 2 days, how many men do you think try to get her contact information, her social media, or her phone number? In 2 days, it would probably average out between 10 and 20 men. Depends on the area, depends on how confident those men are in approaching her. But let's say it's 10 to 20 men. It might be more, but let's just say it's 10 to 20. 10 to 20 men a week are contacting her in person. And it's probably closer to 20. If you add those numbers up in a year, 52 weeks, that's a lot of guys getting her contact information. Now, obviously, not all of them are going to get her contact information, right? Let's say 20 guys approach her. Let's say she only gives her contact info to 2 guys. 2 guys a week times 52, 104. She gave her contact information to 104 guys. And women are more inclined to give their social media to guys. So she'll probably up those numbers and it probably won't be 2. But let's just say it's 2. 104 contacts a year. Out of 104 contacts a year, how many of those actually does she go on dates with? Let's say it's only half of them. And out of those half, let's assume she ends up only going on 25 dates. 25 dates. If she goes on 25 dates, out of those 25 dates, how many do you think end up sleeping with her out of 25 dates? Depends what type of woman she is, right? But if she just average 25 guys she goes on a date with, maybe she sleeps with half of them. Maybe it's less. Let's assume it's less. Let's just say 5 guys. 5 guys out of 25 dates that she sleeps with. That's 5 guys a year. The more she goes out, the more promiscuous she's probably going to be. And also depends on her friends. But let's just be nice and just say it's only 5 every year. 5 new guys. Now, she might rotate them and use the same guys to go to bed with. I'm trying to watch my words because YouTube's super sensitive. So she might sleep with only a certain amount of men and she might just rotate them. But think about this. Let's assume she was only 18 when she started going out. 5 guys a year times how old she is. If she's 28, then it's 5 times 10. And if she's 30, that's 12. 12 times 5, that's 60. Now, some of you guys might say, no, I think that sounds like a lot. All right, let's cut the numbers in half. Let's just say by 30, it was only 30 men. 30 men. We're not including, by the way, social media. If you want to include social media in this whole thing, that are constantly DMing her every day, an average girl gets DM'd daily. And if she's better looking than average and she's posting promiscuous photos online, she's going to get hit up a lot more. So with the combination of her going out and her social media, and obviously if you went on a date with her, you most likely have her social media. So you can see her social media and see what kind of pictures she has. If one of them is like this, where she's turned around this way and she has to break her neck so you can see her because she's trying to show you her ass. Come on. Do you think a woman that's not promiscuous is going to have a back shot? So you have to put these things in consideration. With social media, and if she's constantly going out, she's at minimum going to have about 5 guys. Now, like we said, let's cut it in half. In 10 years, 30 guys. So now you know the average woman is not someone you probably want to get in a long-term relationship with or build a family with. And if you're already in a relationship with them, hopefully you don't have kids with them, then you could just get out of that relationship. But you got to ask these questions because they're not going to tell you. The good thing is that with their social media, most women have the average girl has a low IQ where she doesn't even know she's exposing herself with these provocative pictures. We know, guys with game know, oh, I already know what type of woman you are based on your pictures. Then if you met her friends the first night you met her, based on her friends, you also know, oh, I kind of have an idea what kind of girl you are, right? If they're very promiscuous, what are the chances that she's going to be promiscuous? So ask these questions. You start the conversation by letting her know how much you go out or how much you used to go out. I'll give you an example. This was, I don't know, a few years ago. I was on a date with a girl and she was telling me, she was exposing herself. She was telling me how much she used to party. She used to party 4 times a week. She said Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes even Sunday. Sunday fun day. On the first day, she was telling me this. I was like, oh, cool. That sounds awesome. In my head, I'm like, whew, like, I know what you've been through, right? She had some tattoos as well. Not too crazy, but still, right? Tattoos, obviously, red flag. So that alone, she exposed herself giving me this information. Now, remember, some women are going to be smart and they're not going to tell you or they're going to lie to you on how often they've gone out because they know what you're doing. The older women are going to lie about it. If you're dating a girl that's 20, she's probably going to spill everything to you. So if you do date a younger girl, the good thing is that they're just kind of going to tell you, not directly, but indirectly tell you, what they've been doing. So be smart, ask these questions. Now, if you found this video useful, send it to someone you know. Like it, subscribe it. I'm going to be dropping videos every week. And I'm also going to be dropping a community to help like-minded individuals get better, right? Because, guys, if you want to get better with women, you have to improve your physique. You got to improve the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, your confidence, etc. So I will be dropping a link. Just look in my bio. Whenever it's up and running, it's going to be in my bio. You could also send me, I'm going to have my Instagram on there and maybe the email. You can just send a message directly to that saying that you want to get added to the wait list. So once it drops, I can send you that link.